So we start with our first curiosity. Our first curiosity is, how do you see the growth of FMEG segment in India in the next 2 quarters?
See, if we are to talk of the next 2 quarters, it's very essential to take a sort of a look back, a flashback, if you permit to use Bollywood language. If you see the last year, the first 2 quarters were absolutely copybook. Everything was going well, 15% growth and all of that. It is towards the third quarter of the last financial year, then, when we observed, things were going slightly slower than the first half. And it was in January that news started trickling in from China and then on to Spain and so on and so forth. So Jan-Feb was a little bit of a, iffy sort of a period. What brought the curtains down absolutely was the month of March. On 21st, the lockdown was announced. Mm-hmm. And most companies in the FMEG sector, if you look at them, they are not as tech savvy or as consumer oriented as they should be. Our industry is still learning to cope with that, change in mindset. So it is even today that the month of March can be as much as 20-25% of sales for many companies. And out of that 25% of annual sales, the last 10 days could be as high as 15% of annual sales. So for most companies, that last 10-day period knocked off a huge portion of their anticipated sales and therefore also the profitability that went with it. Mm-hmm. And that's when the shock hit the market. And wherever you went, it was gloom and doom. Mm-hmm. From that period of gloom and doom, I would like to, sort of doff my hat to the entire business community, the entire government machinery. That absolute shocker and that absolute, moment of absolute surprise. From there to where we are now, I think there is a huge change. And if you saw the month of March, followed by April, everywhere you went, you could only see locks. There were no keys around. Right? So the production was zero. We virtually produced nothing that month. The factories were locked down. And therefore, that period was a very testing time for all of us. So we took a call that end of the day, the first person we need to look for and look after is our employee. And therefore, the first thing I did is I started a weekly communication to all employees of the company. Every Friday, I would review the week that has gone. And that continued for 2 months till things stabilized. So we took some very, very important decisions. Decisions like we shall not lay off any employee. Decisions such as we will not only maintain the salary levels of our on-roll employees, but we shall also continue to pay full salaries for those who are casual labor in our factory or those who are off-roll salespeople in our company. Mm-hmm. As one of the biggest manufacturing companies in India, you can understand that at any given time, we have thousands of labor who are not on our rolls, many times. These are casual labor, temporary labor. Similarly, at any given time, our sales team has about 350 to 400 long-arm salespeople. Mm-hmm. So the call we took was, we will treat them as if they are our own employee. Because at this time, they need our support, they need our understanding. And they need to feel secure and they need to have a future to look forward to. We didn't want them to miss out on that. Mm-hmm. So that is one decision. Second decision we took was, whatever the government machinery advises, mm-hmm. we will abide by that. There will be no shortcut. We will not try to deviate from the norms set by the government. Mm-hmm. Right? And on hindsight, that has paid off very well. Because the sternity with which the government was wanting to respond, when we did it, our employees didn't have any major problems. Because as a company of our size and scale, in any case, we are process driven. Our norms are well set. So all we need to do is a little bit of fine tuning. For example, sanitization tunnels need to be set, and which were not there. But these are minor things. And our employees are one of the most open set of people you can have. So it took the people about a week or so to get acclimatized, adapted, and attuned. And they were all very flexible. They were all very supportive. And therefore, we were able to quickly change our gears. From a vehicle, as they say, from 0 to 100 in 5 seconds, Panasonic Life Solutions moved from a state of stationary lockdown to a state of war-type preparedness in a matter of a fortnight. So if you look at the month of May, we could achieve about 80% of sales of May last year. And if you look at June, our June of this year is 11% more than June of last year. This momentum enthused and excited the entire team, our channel partners, our stakeholders, people who supply to us, our employees in the factory. And you'll be surprised, July was 15% higher than July of last year.
Wonderful.
Not only that, the June of this year is the highest sales in the previous 15 months. So you can imagine that gloom and doom, no more. So things have changed. Now, the first quarter after lockdown, I think things have reached a stage that May and June have equalized the loss of April. And if you look at the period now, July, August, September, and October, November, December, my guess is that India, in any case, is a very resilient, very futurist, and very open and very happy nation at large. Right? You see, Indians are not a rich nation, but you walk on the street, right? Our streets are very different from the streets of New York or Tokyo or London, right? There you see, you look around, people are serious and morose. Our people have life. They smile. Because we are a resilient nation. And if you add that to the situation I just described, I certainly feel that the year 2021 is going to be a memorable year. I don't see any gloom or doom. I'm seeing that the tunnel is nearing its end, and the light at the end of the tunnel is brighter than when we entered the tunnel. And in any case, the tunnel was not of our own making. So I think all of us have to look at it in that perspective. The fact that the tunnel was not of our making, right? The fact that we have responded well, the fact that everybody has understood, it has been a fight of all of us together against a common enemy. And when you have what is called in Hindi a jazba and junoon like that, there's only one thing, and that's victory. I am very confident, and I'm almost certain that we shall come out victorious. The future is bright. We have a young nation. We have a nation of people who are very aspirational. We are creative. We are innovative. And we have a lot of thinkers now. If you look at the new generation, look at the energy level that people have. I think this gloom and doom is the past. The worst is behind us, and the future beckons us with a lot of, welcoming, and we must look at it in that perspective.